Oh no, here it goes. All right, perfect.
All right, nice.
So it says it's setting it up in a second. Here we go.
All right, cool.
Awesome. I think we're good. So yep, there we are. So welcome everyone. Welcome Sarah.
Thank
Great to have you here.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, I'm
So
so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
yeah, good stuff. And actually, I've known, let's see, I met you, Sarah, in Mountain View
Yeah.
at an ed tech conference. Oh gosh, back in like
Back
2015,
in the
maybe
day.
something like that.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
It
That was
was. It
crazy.
was. it's
Yeah.
it's amazing to think about, you know, how long that's been. So yeah, and I was like just super impressed by how approachable you were, talking all
Yeah.
about podcasting and doing all this great
Oh,
stuff. And it was awesome that I felt like I could go and ask questions and you answered, and we still
oh,
have stayed connected in lots of ways. So uh,
yeah.
thanks so much. So Sarah,
Oh, thank you.
so Sarah's doing great stuff. She has her doctorate, super cool. And
Thank
she
you.
is the founder of EduMatch, which now is a publishing company and is
Right.
a regional tech coordinator. Those are the things I know off the top of my head. I know, Sarah, you do tons of stuff, so I might be missing some things.
You got it pretty much in a nutshell. Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's that's
okay.
me. That's me. So
Perfect, perfect. All right,
yeah.
I'm going to pull up the Facebook Live here so I can see if people are commenting. There we go. Perfect. All right. We've got
All
Pam Schmidt and
right.
Ryan Reed
Awesome.
watching on Facebook. Awesome. And
Hey.
we've got Sarah Smith. She is a teacher librarian out of our area out here in California who
Okay.
is joining in on Twitter. So
Oh, nice name, Sarah.
that's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
question one just dropped. Oh, and Sarah Smith is actually on both Twitter and Facebook. Love it.
Oh,
Awesome.
cool. That's
Very
awesome. All
cool.
right,
Very
Sarah.
cool. So so Sarah, the first question you asked here that dropped here on the Twitters is how are you doing these days? Which
Right.
is which is a really important question. Let me ask you, Sarah, how are you doing these days?
Oh man, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Like in the grand scheme of things, I have to give a shout out to Patricia Brown and Nicole Howard because I was on the webinar with them on Monday, and that
Okay.
was the very first question that they asked. They were
Mm,
very intentional in asking that question, like, "How's everybody doing?" Before we dive into everything. So I kind of borrowed a page out of their book, but yeah, things are going over here. It's like some days are good days, some days are not as great. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I feel very blessed and fortunate. I have my health. My family has their health, and that's a lot these days. So yeah. So
yeah.
how are you doing?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, so same really, you know, I mean, things are certainly not what any of us expected, but I'm so grateful to be in a position um in a job where I have a job still in all these times,
Yeah.
you know, and I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of people that don't have that right now. They were laid off, they were business
Mm,
owners that weren't able to stay in business and such. So yeah, same thing. Like I've got physical health. I've it's different, you know. Is everything like as
yeah.
ideal as I want it? Probably not, but yeah, I hear you. Like I think being recognizing that like it's okay to not feel okay sometimes, but at the same time be
Yeah.
like, but I'm also grateful, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
definitely.
Totally. I see what you posted on Twitter
Oh
about
yeah, I
being an
scheduled them because it's
extrovert.
just me, right? So I thought
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to be able to do both. Yeah.
Right. I
Yep.
totally feel you. Yeah, so being an extrovert, then it's kind of hard on you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So and I get energized by being around people, you know, and
Right.
so that was tough for me, especially at the beginning. So what we started doing, Adam and I started a virtual happy hour on Zoom, and
Mm-hmm.
so we have some friends that will just hang out and at least it's something. Like it's not the same, but it's something. So
Yeah.
That's do what we can.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. Yeah, that's super important to,
Yeah,
to stay connected and to have your people and your crew. So yeah, absolutely.
for sure. So we've got Roland on here. Roland
Hey,
is
Roland.
from, all right. So he says that he's good and not so good, but
Mm.
I like what he says here, acknowledging the thoughts and feelings and looking for ways to be true to me so I can be good for my family, students, and friends.
Yes. Yeah, that
I
is
like
such a
that.
great point.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I have to say shout out to Roland. Roland's my buddy. So yes, from Canada. Really appreciate you being in the chat and and shout out to everybody who's participating tonight.
absolutely. Especially right now, it's kind of I feel like it's a time when people are just educators and probably just everyone in general is so just tired, you know? Like we all worked real hard to do all this switch and pivot and all this, and now it's like, oh,
Yeah, is the school year still going for you? Like in
no,
your area?
not, no, it's pretty much done, but like
Okay.
just done most districts not too long ago, a week or two ago. So, so I am off now for the majority of the month. Though, I mean, I'm still like answering emails here and there. You know how it is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But how about you? When did you guys end?
Oh man, it's like I think it's today is the official
Okay,
last day or first day of break. I don't even know. I'm 12 months, so that crazy
right.
um that crazy stuff. But it was also report card day. So it was it's the final day where we're like reporting that all of the report cards are ready to print. So relaying the message from the school to the print office, and so it was definitely a busy day, and fourth quarter was definitely different the way we did grading, this quarter. So it was definitely different, and I learned a lot. you know
Right.
so that was yeah so that was cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got some people. We have John Carver from Middle Tennessee. He's on See TikTok every so often. Welcome. We got Joe Marquez from out in our area here. The welcome question, Sarah. I don't know if you saw it. Was what are you planning to read, watch on Netflix, and or listen to this summer? So it's been interesting
Oh, that's
reading
dope.
the answers.
Yes,
I actually
yes.
let's see. So what do we got? Sarah, she's like graphic novel queen.
Yeah.
Uh, she gets kids reading with those graphic novels there in,
Oh, that's
at the high school. So she's got some of that to read.
mhm.
Howard Kayuna finished West Wing, finished
Nice.
The Office, trying Parks and Rec. I like that one.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Sarah?
Oh man, there's been so many shows like on Hulu and Netflix and all this. So, I mean, gosh, I just finished watching Insecure, like the fourth season. It just had its finale on Sunday. So that
Hmm.
was interesting. That was my binge watch, and
It's called
started watching
Insecure.
13 Reasons. Yeah, yeah, Insecure. It's good.
Okay.
It's based in your area. Well, what part of Cali are y'all in again?
Central. So it's kind of
Okay.
rural, relatively speaking. Yeah,
Okay,
agriculture,
gotcha.
lots of ag and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. This is based in, I want to say in the Bay. I think. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure. Yeah,
Okay. I'll
yeah.
check it
So,
out. So this
yeah.
is funny. On Facebook, Sarah Smith says that this is confusing because she thinks that she keeps thinking I'm talking to her because she's watching Facebook as well.
Right?
So that's
That's too
funny.
funny.
We got
Yes, name
Jesus
change.
Huerta on Facebook. Welcome.
Hey,
He's
Jesus.
yeah, you know Jesus is a superstar 3D printer. Um,
Oh, okay.
doing a lot of that with his students in
That's what's
Southern
up.
California.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure. That's what's up. That's some really good stuff right there.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
totally motivates those kids. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So question
Yeah.
two just dropped. Another
Mm.
important one, man. Sarah, you've got the great questions right now, especially for this
I
time. So
appreciate it.
it's true. What steps are you taking to preserve your own physical and mental health?
Yeah, yeah. And I want to say these questions were inspired. Like when I sat down to start typing them, I'm just like, what's on my mind right now?
Yeah,
this, this is it. Yeah, yeah.
definitely.
So, yeah. Yeah.
So, so I'll be honest, like physical health, like I'm not good at exercise. Like I'm the worst at, like I know I should. I don't even want to go walk. Like I know I should. I'll do it maybe once a week. I try, you know, I'm lucky if I get in 3 times a week, just walk around the neighborhood. It's pathetic. Um,
No.
Mental health, I'm doing real well. Like I've got strategies in place. I got daily things I do, but the physical I got to work on. So if anyone's got
Okay.
any like plans on motivating me who absolutely hates working out, I'd love to hear them.
I totally feel you on that.
How
Yeah.
about you, Sarah?
So for me, like with physical, I used to like pre-COVID and all that, then I would
Yeah.
get up, go to the gym at like 4:30 in the morning and then
Wow.
like, get myself ready for work. And when COVID hit, I couldn't do that. And I didn't want to go out, didn't want to go running, for
Yeah.
several different reasons.
Okay.
So I ended up splurging and I got myself a spin bike. So I've been using that. And lately I've been kind of feeling well, got the I got punching bag set up, so I've been doing that.
Oh,
And lately I've been
cool.
feeling a little better about going out. So, I started running like back and forth in front of my house, where there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of people in the mornings. So that's been cool. And as far as mental, I would say that it's been a very stressful time in many different ways. So probably one of the best things that I did was that I actually took a step back from social media, for a
Yeah.
few reasons. I mean, I love social media, I love
Oh
connecting with
yeah.
my people, but I knew I had to take a step back because there was just so much going on. And I mean, it's like, and it just wasn't putting me in a good place, because when you go on Facebook, you see, all of these videos, these violent videos of what's going on in the world. And I mean, rightfully so, people need to know what's going on. But I mean, like just being exposed to that and seeing, like watching those videos and thinking of like, my family, my friends, my loved ones, we could easily be in those positions. And it wasn't putting me in a good mental space. And then on top of that, everything started piling up, inboxes, stuff like that.
Mm.
So and I really wasn't in the space to deal with any of it, so I just had to completely just whoosh, whoosh, and just bounce for a second. But now I'm coming back slowly but surely, still not back in the inboxes yet, but back, taking baby steps back on Facebook and Twitter and all that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. But like, you know, I like that you recognize that and said,
Yeah.
okay, this is something I need to do. I need to just like take a step back and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's tough. This is an interesting thing that Sarah Smith said. Is she said she was doing workouts through a streaming program, but there was too much screens, so she wanted to go
Oh.
outside. I thought that's interesting as well. So, you know, social media, just screens in general, and even if you're on like I don't know. I find even if I was getting for a while, I was really just watching the news like way too much as
Yeah.
well, and it
Yeah.
just it not that it's not important to be informed. Like I think that's really important. I want to hear people's stories and such, but when like I'm watching the updates
Mm.
multiple times a day, that's too much. Like
Right. I
I,
feel you.
you know what I mean?
I feel
So
you.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have
The other
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say that that I was listening to the radio and reading like articles, and they were saying that like now people's sleep is all jacked up. So
Hmm.
that's, even like, even if you can sleep, crazy dreams, so like they were
Hmm.
saying that that's like kind of a thing now. So, sleep is definitely a big part of the physical and mental health part. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for both. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that, yeah, this is affecting really so many people. I know that I follow a lot of like mental health organizations on social media and such, and they're talking about they're just so like overloaded with requests for support right now. And so it's, you know, this is something we as a world, really, like as a
Yeah.
globe, we haven't faced a pandemic like this in our lifetime, certainly. So
Right.
yeah, it's and other things piling up on top of it, and it's just Yeah, it's super important. Brian Costello is watching on Facebook.
Brian, hey.
So he said hello. So Brian said his sleep was actually worse before.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
And then Melanie McAllister says Sarah's up late. That's true. It's late where you're at.
Hey,
And then
Melanie.
Sarah Smith says she always has crazy dreams. So that was
Oh, yeah.
nothing new.
I hear you. I hear you. That makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I find like sleep is so important. Like for me,
Mm.
um, certainly for mental health. So yeah, I'm always like I make myself go to try to make myself go to bed at a certain time. I try to make myself get up within reasonable
Yeah.
times because otherwise I'm just forget
I
it.
hear you on that. Yeah, 100%.
I won't be fun to be around. Let me tell you.
Nah, yeah, me too. I'm the same. I hear you.
But it's good to know these things about yourself. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. That is the truth.
the question 3 dropped. What have you learned or unlearned today?
Oh, today. Oh, goodness. Um,
That's a good question.
yeah, yeah. Well, I would say like I'm gonna cheat a little bit and make it like this whole time period, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Like the last couple weeks. And I would say that one thing that I learned. Well, okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. So I already kind of alluded to this in the previous answer, but I love the fact that now people are more willing to have conversations, about social justice, about racism, about how we can all work together to fight it, and so I absolutely 100% love that. So I think that there's a lot of learning and unlearning that's taking place right now. I think for me personally, then something um, that I had to learn, that it's going to sound like it has absolutely nothing to do with this, but it has everything to do with this. Um, I wish I could pick up the. I wish I had my Facebook open right now, but somebody put something on Facebook that I reshared where they were um talking about like boundaries on time and things like that. You
Mhm.
have to learn to say no without feeling guilty. Setting boundaries is healthy. You need to learn to respect and take care of yourself. So that I had to learn. I had to learn that. And the reason that it applies to this is that, I'm all about conversation. I'm all about dialogue. But what I found out is that I was burning out very quickly just having conversations, because like, there are so many people who want to have conversations, and now we're kind of learning more about the world. And so I want to have those conversations, but I need to know that I cannot have every conversation,
Mm.
and that was something that I had to learn. And I don't know if that even made sense or if I
No,
sounded like
I
a
think it
rambling
does.
person.
I feel like right now I'm learning the importance of listening,
Yeah,
um, and just really trying to um, try to let people tell their stories if they'd like, and just listening and having a platform if they so choose. Um, but what I hope is that the conversations aren't a whole bunch of conversations all at once and then it dies down, like that it's a fad, because this is
right.
so serious and it's such it's so important that we do have these conversations and we do address what's happening and what has been happening for years and how we can move forward. And so that's my hope, is that that this will, and I mean, I guess, I don't know, I've spoken to some people that did say they do have more hope now than they've had in a long time, and
Yeah.
that makes me hopeful as well. But I still am like kind of always the skeptic, and I just keep like, okay, we gotta make sure that especially those of us that maybe were not as active as being advocates in the past, right? And
Right.
so what can we do, like what can I do to ensure that this conversation doesn't stop, and that I
Exactly. Yeah.
continue to talk about it? So that's kind of what I'm trying to do in my end.
Mm.
And we had an amazing conversation on CV Tech Talk last week. We didn't even have a chat, and so we listened to it was the entire we had actually went an hour instead of half an hour.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so we brought in a couple of people that wanted to tell their stories. And so we had a former correctional officer from the LA area who told a lot of what he's done, like with that and social work and such. And then we had another man who was talking, and he talked about like the LA police that had pulled him over when he was 8 and things like, or had, you know, they're telling these personal stories and what school was like. And so it was interesting to hear their perspectives and just listen, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the best thing we could do, is just say, you know what, just talk and then tell us what you want us to hear, and then what should we tell teachers, you know, type.
Right.
But yeah, you know, my hope is it continues. Like, you know, I know there's,
Yeah, I hope so too.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think that it's, you know, we absolutely have to have these conversations, and I want to give a shout out to Clear the Air. Also, they have a great community on Twitter, Voxer, things of that nature. And you know, they also have lots of discussions, people doing the work, getting together, doing the work. So, I feel like my internet's freezing. I'm sorry if it is. So my apologies if I'm glitching.
No,
But
I got
yeah,
it.
no, I definitely, yeah. But Clear the Air on Twitter and Voxer, you know, definitely a great community I wanted to shout out at this time.
Yeah, I like what Brian Costello said. He says, if I'm having these conversations and I'm not changed in some way, then it's a problem. That's kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
I hear
Yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
hear you. That's a good one. Yeah.
So, and yeah, Melody
Yeah, that's a
McAllister
really,
saying it's over time that's really going to show, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and and going back to what you're saying, I am I guess I would say I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm really hoping that, you know, that there's a lasting change. I know personally from my lens, then I'm seeing things that I haven't seen before. And that is definitely giving me a lot of hope. I'm seeing more people wanting to have the conversations. And again, you know, just to reiterate, I love the fact that people are having conversations, and I highly recommend like Clear the Air. There's so many different Voxer groups, Twitter groups. I know I pop in from time to time. And you know, those are definitely some great resources for folks.
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of great TED Talks out there. There's things on like Netflix
Yeah,
put out a whole bunch of stuff. And so, yeah, certainly I think there's not a lack of places to go listen and learn, I think. Um, in
absolutely.
my opinion. I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't had a lack of places I could go and learn and listen to some things you know, stories I hadn't heard before and such. So let's see.
Yeah. I hear you.
So we have another question dropped. This one says,
Okay. All right, cool.
all right. So what do you need, if anything, to be good? And if you're already good, or even if you're not, how are you supporting others at this time? So I'm wondering, Sarah,
Yeah.
because you wrote these questions, how would you define
Uh-huh.
good?
Yeah. So the good is in quotation marks, right?
Right, right.
But I guess like just I don't even know how to define it. I mean, for me, last week, good looked like functional. Like I could actually, you know, get out of bed and go about my day without, you know, without just the weight of the world on me, and I felt like I couldn't do anything, right? So to me, having a good day was getting out of bed, being productive, and not being overwhelmed. So I guess good is relative. Like this week, good is better for me. Today was a good day. Like I got to get out, do some running, you know, and be productive. So I mean, I guess good is relative. So I guess it's to the eye of the beholder, so to speak.
That's true. What I like about that good being relative is, if you say, I went to a session, Ricky Robertson, who wrote oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the name. He and some other co-authors wrote a book about like trauma informed instruction. I'm forgetting the name. And so what he said was, when you are and essentially we're kind of all like experiencing some secondary trauma, and perhaps personal trauma as well through all of this. I mean, it's been argued that there's collective trauma. And so he said, when you are working on self-care, so to speak, for yourself, you can't set the bar so high that you can't achieve it. So if good, like you were saying, Sarah, if
Right.
good is different this week than it was last week, that should be okay. Because otherwise, you're just gonna feel like a failure. You're gonna beat
Yeah.
yourself up. You could get all, at least I
Yeah.
will. So
Right. I feel you. I feel you.
I see Adam is
Yeah.
watching on Twitter or on Facebook now. So that's cool.
Hey, what's up, Adam? Yes.
Now,
Absolutely.
so see, maybe I shouldn't have said this because now Sarah Smith is saying, I was saying how I have trouble like having motivation to do any exercise or physical activity at all. Now she says, let's do it social distance style. We'll support
Uh-huh.
you up and getting out there. So I know you're listening on here on Facebook too, Sarah. So I'm going to be honest, and if Adam's listening, he knows this. Like, I have to say, I don't like that idea because I really do hate getting up and even walking. But I
Oh,
love that you challenged me, and I think we should do that. So we need each other.
yeah, I like that. Yeah,
So
that is cool.
yeah, for sure. So you said you were Sarah said you got me. So so Sarah, you said your good is better this week than last week, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, big time, big time. So I hope it gets even better.
So do you
Yeah.
would you attribute that to anything that you've done, or is it more situational, or
I'd say I don't know. I guess it varies, you know? Like I guess I don't know. I think that maybe that step away helps. I think that the return might be a little premature, but it helped a lot because I was able to kind of reframe, refocus, and start knocking some things off my to-do list, and that is like something that I can like feel the to-do list like in the air, right? And when it's just like lingering there and there's more being added to it and it's not being done, then I start to spiral. So, but I was able to just be like, I'm not doing any of this. And then when I came back in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a little bit of this. And that's kind of helping me get in a better spot. So that, and also talking, and I'm an introvert, believe it or not. So but writing, talking, sometimes talking, that does help. And supportive of my family, my loved ones, and friends, and all that good stuff. So it's good. It's good. And how about you? Are you good?
yeah, I think like we said at the beginning, I think I'm pretty good, like considering all the circumstances, and really I'm in a break time, so to speak, compared to normal, I guess, and so that's been okay. Normally, like I need routine, and I can't stand too much like breaks that are too long, like vacations that are too long. Vacation's different if you like go somewhere, but if you're home and you're not working.
Right.
But this time maybe it's just because
Yeah.
we're so swamped, with all this. It's been okay.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, it's been good for
I
sure.
hear you.
Yeah, so Brian
Yeah.
Costello says that taking things off your plate always feels good. Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely, definitely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. That
So
is for sure.
I know it's like super late out there right now, Sarah, and you did talk about sleep and how that's which I agree with. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss, or talk to our viewers about?
No, just take care of yourselves, like seriously, just there's only one you, so you got to take care of that you, whatever that may look like, but do whatever will help you take care of yourself, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to be there for anyone else. So yeah, that would be, I guess, my closing thought, Jerry Springer style.
I love it. I love it. Well, Sarah, I really appreciate you taking the time to come out and join us here. I know we had a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter that were happy you were here, and myself included. Like I said before we started, it was good to see your face and hear your voice. It's been a while, so with all the canceled conferences.
Yeah.
So
Right.
definitely. All right. Well, oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream, everyone. So, but Brian says he wants a DJ Sarah dance party right now.
Oh, see, I have the controller right here as well as the pink headphones. So
I'm wondering what he meant. Okay.
yeah, we did a Alexis Terry yesterday in in our EduMatch Publishing Facebook group. She did the block party for a book that is releasing tomorrow, her book Real Love. So we had a block party and I was DJing it, Vicky. So that was so much fun. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, Sarah. I'm going to say goodbye to all of those on Facebook Live, and we'll see you guys next week.